Welcome to Jamie TV. Thank you very much for tuning in. I was just in the house to get some coffee and the missus said to me, Jamie, because that's my name, although she does call me other things. In fact, look, it's even written on my mug in case I forget who I am. But she says, Jamie, you've got a delivery. And I got a bit excited because, you know, everybody loves a delivery, don't they? And lo and behold, I've got this nice big box from Nektar. But I was a bit confused because I thought they were just sending me a 25 key mini keyboard. But lo and behold, inside this box is a little box, the Impact GX Mini. So today I'm going to be unboxing this and I'm going to plug it up to some desktop software, some iPad software, and let's see if it's any good. Okay, let's open the box. Unboxing videos are weirdly popular on YouTube, so this is my bid to be really popular. Let's just get rid of the box itself and then these two packaging ends and set this down. Okay, so we've got a USB lead for connecting to your desktop, laptop, iPad, iPhone, Android device, whatever. We've got a little bag with manual in, instructions about included software, etc. And this is the adapter for the sustain pedal. And let's just whip this out of its bag. Okay, first touch of the keys. The keys feel quite nice. First impression is they do feel a lot nicer to the touch than you would expect of mini controller keyboards in this price bracket. If you do buy this keyboard and you want to use it with a computer, then look at the owner's manual, find the web address on the front, go to that address and log into your Nektar account. If you don't have one, set one up. It takes about a minute, and then you'll be asked to register your product. Get this card that comes with the keyboard, put the serial number in. You'll then be asked for your operating system and what digital audio workstation you want to use. You'll then download a small piece of software, takes about a minute, that will enable your DAW to see the keyboard and for all of the functions to operate correctly. Also with that software, a small set of instructions will download. If you look at them, they will tell you how to go into your particular DAW and to just make sure that everything is set up correctly for your keyboard. It takes about a minute. I did that and everything on my keyboard worked correctly straight away. I'm loving it. I'm loving the feel of the keys. They feel even nicer than the keys on my original iRig keys, which I am very, very fond of. They feel an awful lot better than these ones on the original MPK Mini, which to me feel a bit like pushing biscuits through treacle. I did, however, find one tiny flaw. Let me just put this over here. The only flaw I could find so far, and it is a bit nitpicky, but the cable that came with the keyboard was so short that I couldn't actually get it to reach from the keyboard to my desktop, which is only just sat right here under the desk. Fortunately, I did have a cheap tacky one that I've been able to use instead of it. Now, I'm very, very impressed so far, but most of my music production I actually do on an iPad. So let's see how this little beauty works on iOS. just been checking out the GX Mini with several different iOS apps, and it worked fantastic with all of them. Although there's no download available for iOS to tell your apps what the transport buttons etc. are supposed to do, you have to go into the MIDI mapping for each one and tell it what the buttons are meant to do. But that's nothing new to us on iOS, and it's easy enough to do. It takes about a minute. Now let me tell you why I wanted to have a look at this particular keyboard. I saw an article online, can't remember where, saying Nektar about to release new 25 key controller keyboard, and I thought, why? Why bother? There are so many available already, there's some really stiff competition, why would anyone want to make another one? But I had a nosy at the article anyway, and I ended up thinking, you know what, this might be the very fella for me, because I need something very small, very light, that will throw in my backpack. I don't use twisty turny knobs very much, I don't use pads very much, I like the idea of them but I just don't really utilise them that much. But transport buttons are very useful to me, and the keyboard has a feature called Part 2 which I really wanted to try out. But then I noticed the price and I thought, well, it's probably pants because it's so cheap, but I'm very nicely surprised. The build quality is great for this price bracket, although it is very light. The joystick is nice and short, so if you throw it in a bag it's unlikely to get damaged, and there's a nice amount of resistance to it when you're using it, so that makes it much easier to be accurate. And it is very small. In fact, one thing you should note is that I'm a very small person, my hands are really tiny, so I probably make this keyboard look a lot bigger in this video than it actually is. So I better tell you about that Part 2 feature. In this AUM project here, I've got two instances of SampleTron open. Over here, I've got the progressive organ on tape, which is receiving MIDI information from GX Mini on MIDI channel 1. Over here, I've got synth bass on tape, which is receiving MIDI information from the GX Mini, but on MIDI channel 2, which currently the GX Mini is not using. This will come into play later. For now we're just focusing on this sound here, so let's open this up. Now, Part 2, here's how it works. If I press this C, and then press the first Part 2 button, it will now play that note 2 octaves lower. That's the default setting. And if I press the other button, it plays the note 2 octaves higher. Now notice above these keys here, these are the parameters that we can change that relate to Part 2. So let me show you what they do. If I want to change the octave that the second note plays on, I can go to Setup and select Octave, and then if you look at the blue strip over here, there are numerical values that relate to the black keys. So if I say I want it to play on octave 1 and press enter, which is the last key over here, now when I press this C, then engage Part 2, it's just playing me a note 1 octave lower or 1 octave higher. Alright, now let's change something else. Let's press layer. So if I press setup, layer, and I don't need to press enter when it's layer, it's already done it. Now if I press the note, then engage Part 2, it plays both the notes at the same time. Now I can also transpose a note, and I can change the MIDI channel that the second note is going out on. So let's go to channel. We'll change that first. Press setup, channel. We'll select MIDI channel 2 for the second note and press enter. And now that second note is being played by synth bass on tape. Now I'm just going to deactivate that to show you the next thing. So I go to setup and I go to channel, select MIDI channel 1 and press enter. Now for the next thing, I want the second note to be played in the same octave that the root note has been played in. So I'm going to go to setup and octave and press 0 and enter. And then I'm going to go to transpose, and I'm going to ask for the second note to be a fifth, so we can create an organ style power chord. Press enter, and now I should have if I press the up button on part 2, it's playing me a power chord. SampleTron 2 is a virtual instrument available for Windows, Mac and iOS, which allows the user to infuse their music with the magic of tape-based samplers from the 60s and 70s, and early digital sample players and vocoders. It features 8 GB of those quirky, much-loved vintage sounds. This massive collection of over 400 tracks has been sampled from Mellotrons, Chamberlins, Optigons, Orchestrons, the 360 Systems digital keyboard and more, and also includes the entire SampleTron 1 library. You can use SampleTron standalone, as a VST, as a library inside of SampleTank 4, and the iOS version is AUV3. Presets can have up to 3 different tracks loaded, and you can switch between them or blend them together, pan, fine-tune and transpose them with the mixer section, which also includes synthesizer style controls with filter, amplitude and velocity parameters, which you can apply to individual tracks or to the whole preset. MIDI learn functionality allows you to map controllers to the many parameters, and you can even load in your own samples to take advantage of IK Multimedia's incredible tape modeling DSP. The beautiful sounding included rack effects are channel strip EQ and compressor, tape echo, multi-mod with chorus, phaser, flanger, ensemble, univibe and rotary, and a vintage plate reverb. Each instrument is represented with graphics that really take you on a trip into the past and beautifully complement the vintage vibes of the whole experience. I found it an absolute joy to use. It's both user-friendly and a great creative tool, and I will definitely be featuring it plenty more on this channel. Before I get to my final topic, I just want to give a huge shout out to the Beat community. The Beat community is a Facebook group run by Ali Ahmed. Ali uses the group to notify members of new software releases, updates, sales and freebies for both iOS and desktop. It's a great community to be part of, so if that sounds like your bag, check it out. Oh, and you'll also find that there is a Twitter extension of the group, and also you'll find it on Instagram. Now this. That was one of the instruments from the piece that I used earlier in this video to demonstrate SampleTron 2, soloed so that you could hear the effect that BLEASS Dragonfly app has on it, as it is faded into the instrument a few bars into the track by bringing up the wet and dry with some automation in Cubasis 3. That was a bit of a mouthful. Now, I've had quite a few inquiries from people asking me if I could do some videos on automation in Cubasis 3, and I am planning that video, so if you have any questions along those lines, if there's anything you'd like to know about automation in Cubasis 3, then let me know in the comments below the video so that I can include it as I make that video. Now, BLEASS Dragonfly app is yet another world beater. If anyone knows anything about iOS music, you will know that BLEASS make an absolutely fantastic, unbeatable suite of applications. Now, what they seem to do is to take a sort of a traditional kind of a effect, like a chorus or a delay, and kind of redesign it with a beautiful user interface, intuitive, colourful, and make it capable of doing things that you never imagined that effects app could ever do. Now, Dragonfly is no exception. It is without a doubt one of the most exciting iOS apps released this year. And what's really interesting about BLEASS apps is that they are now being ported over to desktop, when usually that kind of thing happens the other way around. So that's a really interesting development. Now, Dragonfly deserves a video all of its own, and I'm going to do that at some point. For now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play you out with a few exciting and awesome sounds, I hope, that I've made with Dragonfly, just to give you an idea of what you can do with it. So until my next video, thank you very much for watching this one. Be good, be kind, be good people. Give me a thumb up or a thumb down, you know, if you disliked the video, but if you did, then why are you still watching by this point? Anyway, yes, so be good people, be kind, take care of yourselves, make lots of music, and don't piss pants about. See you later.